Well, apparently the first message wasn't clear enough. Because after some black Americans said deportations are not their fight, the pressure didn't stop. The criticism didn't stop. And the demands for solidarity didn't stop. So now, the response from some voices is even stronger. We said what we said. You can get hungry, you can call it selfish, you can demand unity, but the question remains. Why are black Americans expected to fight an immigration battle that they didn't create? And this time, some are refusing to back down. So let's get into it.
I want to let all black people know, sit your black asses down. You're not moving. You're not going nowhere. This is not our fight. Let 1 million of their people go out there and let's see how law enforcement handles them, okay? You all sit your black asses down. This is not our fight. They had the chance to align themselves with us back in November. They made their choice. They voted for how they wanted to vote for. So let them go and march. Let them go and protest. Let them go and rally. Let them go shed their blood, sweat, and tears. You stay your black asses inside, okay? Thank you.
The black people stay out of these ICE protests. As protests have ramped up, as bodies have begun to pile up, the entitlement and privilege of other groups of people as it pertains to black people putting their bodies on the line has begun to show itself. And I keep thinking, wow, imagine for a second, the entitlement, the privilege, and quite frankly, the disconnect and the dissonance of people. Because I think blackness has a weight to it. And for a while, I always wondered what that weight was. And that weight is memory and it is history. The history that this current administration is trying to take away from people. And here's why. Imagine telling the group of people who have been in this country before this country had a name, were the dead last ones to get rights in this country, have been disenfranchised, brutalized, victimized by this country before they even had rights, are the reason some people in this country and other people across the world have rights. Same group of people who fought, died, were tortured, beaten, lynched, hung, all these different things. Imagine telling the people and expecting the people who fought, died, went to prison, had to flee the country, all these things. Imagine telling those people, hey, why aren't you fighting? Where are you in this issue? When the National Guard is going into predominantly black neighborhoods right now, when police show up alongside ICE, knowing the history that black people have with the police in this country, that again had slavery, genocide, institutionalized racism. Imagine the expectation, the entitlement, and quite frankly, the psychosis behind the frustration when we say no. Imagine going to the polls and voting for this, knowing that most black people did not vote for this, and you want us to clean up the mess that you made. And I'm not even trying to get political, but that's just the concurrence of facts of the events. Imagine how crazy this looks for us. And I need people to understand, it's not that we are for these things happening to anyone. Y'all are. We are 14% of this country's population. I need you to really understand that. We are 14% of the population. Most of you, in some way, shape, or form, wanted this. You voted for this. You did all the things that you could for this to happen to people. And now there seems to be no compunction with the powers that be for them to do these things to you. It just so happens that you probably always expected this to happen to us. And now it's not. So no, we're not doing it. We'll be coming out on the other end of it, though, victorious. Have a good day.
Man, I noticed something with this deportation thing. I just couldn't figure it out. I said it in my video, but I just never thought about it. These people keep saying we're going to get deported, we're going to get deported, we're going to get deported. They projecting because we the only people that didn't immigrate here. We didn't migrate here. We not refugees to come over here. We not in the immigration system. We didn't have to pledge allegiance and denounce another country just to live here. We didn't do none of that. We not anchor babies. Our parents didn't come over here, didn't had us here. None of that. But they have. They have. And they hate that. They jealous of that. They jealous of that. Because number one, they thought they were going to be our replacement. They was working on it. I ain't going to lie. They were working real hard to be our replacement. Then number two, they came over here to colonize us. But when they found out that Trump made it a way where we are emancipated people, we are children of slaves, we can't be deported. They hate that, and that bothers them. That jealousy and envy bothers them because they already come over here with jealousy. They already come over here with envy. But now they see we can't go nowhere. Now they want us to be scared with them. They want us to be scared of if we see an unmarked car drive past our house. They want our heart to be beating fast. You know what I mean? When we go to restaurants and we see ICE come take somebody, they want us to be scared with them. And we just out here popping fans, you know what I'm saying? Well, them fans, we just popping fans, having fun, enjoying life, talking, trying to get our money right, trying to see what's going to happen in the future. We ain't even thinking about ICE. We're not even thinking about being deported like they is. They want us to be scared like them. They want us to be worried like them. You get what I'm saying? That, and I'm like, damn, bro, like they really are jealous of us. Not just the Africans and Caribbeans, the Mexicans are jealous of us. Because they mad because they not part of the 14th Amendment. They not. There's a lot of white people not part of the 14th Amendment either. They jealous of that, bro. We can trace our family to the 1700s. Some people can go far back than that. And they don't like it. And they jealous of it. And they hate it. I know it burns them up. Like all the contempt, all the anti-blackness they say about us, the rhetoric, the stereotypes, all that stuff they spew. And that one thing they can't get is citizenship like we have. We emancipated people and they hate that. Oh, they hate that. That burns them up. That's why they doing these scare tactics on us. That's why they doing all these things, because they want us to be fearful, just like them, of being deported.
African Americans are not being deported. They're just being illegally detained. That shit been happening. That shit been happening for a while. Like, this ain't even nothing new. ICE been illegally detaining fucking African Americans trying to get to Haitians and shit. Right? They been doing that shit. It's just a simple fact. Now we like niggas really ain't gonna fuck with y'all, because I'm seeing a lot of non-black American black people, right, saying shit like, we told y'all so, you guys never listen, we told you they're gonna come after y'all, and we still ain't protesting, bitch. If that's what you thought was gonna happen, because I feel like that's what they were getting decided. They were getting more decided for the fact that black Americans were finally being targeted by ICE. Like, y'all don't even really give a fuck that it happened, because y'all never gave a fuck that it happened before, right? You're just decided because they're doing it, period. Because you think it's a gotcha, but we're still not protesting deportation, bitch. And then on top of that, these same people bringing up that happened didn't say nothing about those hangings, several black people being hung back in September. Said nothing about those several HBCUs getting fucking death threats and shit. Never said nothing about that. Never said nothing about coming to those HBCUs, provoking those children. Ain't said shit about that. Right? Now suddenly, oh, we told y'all gonna be targeted. We told you're gonna be targeted. Then why you didn't say nothing about us being targeted then? Like, shut y'all fake asses up. Shut y'all fake asses up. We're still not protesting deportation. If you thought that what the fuck gonna happen, dick riding assholes. That shit pissed me off, because they was really, they was excited as fuck, talking about something. We told y'all. You didn't tell us shit. We been said, oh yeah, we already knew they was gonna come after us. We already knew they was gonna come after us, and we still ain't protesting shit, because y'all sat right here and let it happen. Y'all, first of all, y'all wasn't even concerned about those black people being hung in September and those HBCUs being threatened, because y'all worried about protesting that fucking Kamala's book signing book event. They on this motherfucker arguing about why it makes sense to protest Kamala's booking event and not protest Trump. Like, that's what they try to argue. Like, no, we still not protesting deportation. So yeah, y'all might as well relax. Fucking relax.
I don't say this with malicious intent. It just feels like you guys don't want community with black people. You just want black people to be available at your disposal. So when the election happened and the results are what they were, even though I felt like it was rigged, I said to myself and on my social media platforms that I wasn't going to protest. I wasn't changing my profile picture. I wasn't hashtagging. I wasn't donating to an organization. You know why? Because I voted. And then I can't help but think about, if the results were the way you guys thought they would be when you went to vote the way that you did, would you still want to have community today with black people? If he did everything the way that he said he would or that you imagined he would? In my opinion, the answer to that question is no, which is why you want us to come to the front and rally with you and support you and stand together for a cause that we did not vote for. And let's not forget the disrespect that many of you gave the black content creators who got on this app to make you aware what would come down the pipeline if you voted for that man. And guess what y'all did? You voted for that man. And now what they said was going to happen is happening. This is the consequence.
So we have a discourse going on between, I think, majority like Mexicans and the black community. And I just have to say to my Mexican people who are asking why the black people are not like protesting with us or whatever. Why would they? 92% of their women voted for Kamala. 80% of their community of men voted for Kamala. 60% of Latinos voted for Kamala. And I believe the majority were women and the majority were Mexican. But that number is crazy, considering that Hispanics and Latinos are becoming the fastest growing minority. Like, we are going to be the majority soon. And it's crazy for me to think that number was so fucking low. And now you're asking where the black community is when they're the ones who tried to avoid this. Hello? They tried to avoid this. We all tried to tell you guys, even within my own community. I'm talking to you guys because I did the work. And I know other Latinas who did the work. We were on calls every fucking week. We were writing postcards. We were making phone calls. And you guys were probably nowhere in sight, my Latino community. And now you're begging the black community to come help us, to come save us. No! I think it's time we learn to save ourselves and let the black community rest, because my God, have they not done enough fucking work. So, yeah. Where were we during the George Floyd protests? Or the Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland? When their community was getting killed, where the fuck were we? Because I do not remember seeing any Latin people out there. Now, maybe there was one or two of y'all. I don't remember seeing any Mexicans out there. So why should they put their time, their energy, all of this into helping a group of people who didn't give a shit about them when they needed our help? Think about that. Also, where the hell are all you Latinos for Trump at? Because I see a lot of you guys crying on here that you regret your decision. He lied to us. He used us. Where the fuck are you? Are you out there protesting? Because you motherfuckers are really the ones who need to be out there. You guys. And all your fucking regrets for voting for him with your dumbasses. So before you guys start wondering where the black people are, wonder where the fucking Latinos for Trump are. Where the fuck are they? That should be the question we're asking.
Here is what makes this conversation so interesting. Some people apparently believe that criticism would force black Americans to change their position. They thought social media pressure would work. They thought guilty would work. They thought saying, "you should stand with us," would automatically bring black Americans into the deportation fight. But instead, the pushback appears to be getting louder. Some black Americans are saying, "we heard you the first time. We understand your concerns, but you still do not get to choose our priorities." And that is the part many people seem unwilling to accept. Looking at the question at the center of this debate, why can't you stand with us? That sounds simple. It sounds emotional. It sounds like a call for unity. But some Black Americans are responding with another question. When exactly did our support become mandatory? Because solidarity is supposed to be voluntary. You cannot demand it. You cannot shame people into it. And you cannot treat Black Americans like a permanent political backup team whenever another community faces a crisis. Some Black Americans are asking, where was this urgency for our agenda? Where was this national pressure around reparations? Black home ownership, Black business ownership. Those questions are dividing this entire conversation. And then comes the argument that refuses to disappear. Black Americans did not create federal immigration policy. They did not write the visa system. They did not control border enforcement. They did not decide asylum rules. They did not personally create the conditions that led to today's immigration debate. So some are asking, why would some Black Americans carry a special responsibility to fight deportations? Think about that. Whenever immigration becomes a crisis, suddenly Black Americans are expected to become activists, expected to march, expected to speak, expected to vote a certain way, expected to defend policies they may not even agree on themselves. And when some reviews, people are shocked. But Black Americans are not a monolith. They have different political views, different priorities, and different opinions about immigration. Now here comes one of the most sensitive parts of this debate, the civil rights movement. Whenever deportations become controversial, people often reach for the language of Black American history. They mention marches, they mention segregation, they mention civil rights leaders. They talk about coalition and shared struggle. But some Black Americans are increasingly asking, why is our history always remembered when somebody needs something from us? That question hits hard because the Black freedom struggle was not a costume. It was not a slogan. It was not a convenient political marketing strategy. People sacrificed careers, families faced violence, activists were jailed, some lost their lives. So when that history is used to pressure Black Americans into a modern political position, some people are saying, enough. Respect the history, but stop treating it like a blanket check for automatic support. Now, this is where nuance matters. Saying deportations are not our fight does not automatically mean celebrating human suffering. It does not mean cheering when families struggle. And it does not mean every Black American agrees with harsh immigration policies. That would be ridiculous. Black Americans have different opinions. Immigrants have different opinions. Every community contains disagreement. But there is a difference between compassion and obligation. You can care about someone's situation without joining their movement. You can oppose cruelty without making immigration your number one political priority. You can have empathy and still say, my community has got unfinished business. That distinction matters. And maybe this is the question that deserves more attention. If you want Black American solidarity, what does mutual solidarity look like? Not speeches, not hashtags, not calling everybody allies during a crisis. Actual reciprocity. When Black Americans raise specific concerns, will those concerns receive the same urgency? When Black Americans discuss reparations, will others stand with them? When Black Americans focus on wealth, housing, schools, employment, and discrimination, will people show up then? Because solidarity cannot mean support us now and we'll discuss your issues later. Some Black Americans believe they have heard later for far too long. So yes, the debate continues. The criticism continues, and the pressure continues. But some Black Americans are making their positions even clearer. We said what we said. You can disagree, you can debate, you can criticize. But you cannot demand automatic loyalty from any community. And you definitely cannot assume Black Americans must fight every political battle simply because somebody invokes the language of solidarity. Now I want to hear from you. Are Black Americans right to double down? Should deportations become a major Black American political fight? Or should Black Americans focus first on their own unresolved agenda? Drop your opinion below. And I especially want to hear from people who disagree. Explain why. Keep the debate respectful, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because based on the reaction this conversation is getting, the debate is far from over. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.